Hello and welcome to Psych Sundays with Dr. Sonya Maya. That is me. This is a channel where I'd like to talk about psychology, relationships, and all things spicy time. So it's lots of spicy time content. But today we're going to be talking about 3 tips for improving emotional intimacy, which is a very important topic. By the way, let me know below, how is the sound? Because your girl is using a microphone. Yes, it has been sitting on the table across from me, so just let me know because I have had this for a while without knowing how to use it, and I just figured out how to use it, and yeah, your girl is figuring out the tech of YouTube, so we're upgrading. Yes, we are upgrading. So let me know, how does my voice sound? All right, back to the video. Emotional intimacy is important in all of your relationships, whether that's with your family members, with your friends, but this video is primarily going to be focusing on emotional intimacy within partnered romantic relationships. If you are new to this channel, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. If you find any value in this video, please do show some love to that like button and also subscribe. I do upload every week. Emotional intimacy tends to decrease for various reasons. There's a lot of stressors that hit us left and right, a lot of roadblocks when it comes to connection, especially when it comes to work stressors. Finances can be really difficult. When those types of things get in the way, it's really hard to feel connected with our partners, especially after that honeymoon phase ends. When you first meet someone, there's like a 6 to 12 month phase of a honeymoon phase when you're all worked up on hormones that don't last in terms of knowing someone for a long time. There is this hormone called phenylphylamine when you first meet someone. It's that newness hormone, and it does fizzle out over time. Of course, there's other hormones that are going to feel good, like oxytocin, but in order to keep that oxytocin up, it does take some effort. And of course, physical intimacy is really important when it comes to emotional intimacy as well. So I'm going to be talking about 3 tips for improving emotional intimacy. And the last tip is going to be spicy time related. So make sure to watch until the end for some spicy time tips, because you know me, I love talking about sex. Tip number 1. You want to decrease the urge to get into fix-it mode. A lot of you might find this relatable. Sometimes it can be really hard to be an active listener. What do I mean by that? I mean that if your partner is opening up about something they're struggling with, and then you automatically want to give them advice. We often get taught how to talk in terms of how to talk to people. Like, oh, you get taught how to be a public speaker or how to communicate more effectively maybe, but we're never really taught how to listen, how to fully show that we're listening, and how to validate your partner or your friends or your family members. A lot of people don't feel fully heard when they open up. And if you've had the privilege of attending therapy, you may have noticed that opening up to a friend, a partner, a family member is a bit different than opening up to a therapist in some ways. Because therapists, especially ones that, know what they're doing, that are good at their jobs, they're going to be effectively making you feel heard. They are listening to you without interrupting, and they are validating you. Of course, there's so many other things that we do as therapists that provide value, but being an active listener is one of those things. A lot of the time, if you're opening up to a friend or a partner or a family member, they might be multitasking, and it's really hard to actually listen, and we can only really focus on one thing at a time. We can multitask, but we're not really going to be actively listening when we're multitasking. So if you find that you do that, we all do it. It's a very normal part of life. However, it is not going to make that person feel super heard. And as humans who want healthy relationships, we're just not always that great at it. It's not our fault. Like I said, we are not taught how to do this in school, which would be nice. We must learn how to validate. This means that if somebody's opening up about a stressful day they had, let them keep talking. And also you want to say things like, oh, tell me more. What else? Let them keep going. And then when it feels like they got it all out, you want to repeat back what they said in different words to make them feel validated. You could even throw some feeling words in there. If you feel the urge to get into fix-it mode, just hold yourself back. It takes some practice. It's really hard to break that cycle. For example, let's say your partner's opening up about somebody at work pissing them off, right? Maybe they feel like everyone is against them at work. After they open up, instead of saying, have you tried asking Margaret why she singled you out? Have you tried asking Margaret why she's treating you that way? Have you tried to fix the problem? Instead, try, wow, That sounds so frustrating that she singled you out like that. Damn, what a bitch. No, maybe not what a bitch. Depends on the context, right? It depends on the, type of relationship dynamic you have if you talk about people that way, But yeah, if Margaret has been called a bitch by the past by your partner, call that bitch a bitch. I mean, a bitch is a bitch, Yeah. I love how I can talk to you guys the way that I won't. I don't always talk to clients like this, but I do incorporate humor into my sessions because I'm a human being and I am not one of those therapists that's going to be robotic.
Don't listen to him. He's obviously a robot.
After the back and forth, okay, of them opening up and you validating them, you can ask consent to give your input. This could look like, I'm here for you, but would you like my feedback on this situation? You can always ask, because sometimes people just want to vent. Sometimes people just want you to sit in the mud with them, which I love that analogy, because when people are able to feel like they can vent and open up without judgment and in a safe way and feel validated, then they don't feel as alone. Also, psychologically, the fact that they are venting and getting it out to someone is actually very healthy psychologically, and they're less likely to have negative emotions, such as if they were feeling anxious about work, they're less likely to feel anxious because they got it out of their brain and out into the open, into listening ears, to caring ears. And if you don't have anyone to vent to, you can always vent to yourself. You can use a voice note in your phone. If you don't feel like you have anyone safe to talk to, you could also, of course, journal, use the Notes app. These are all very valid ways to get those emotions out. By the way, you don't have to agree with everything they say just to validate them, You just want to make them feel heard. You also want to decrease critical talk and absolute language. If you want more info about what not to say, especially in conflict, check out one of my recent videos on phrases to avoid in relationships. Yes, here, I'll put it up here for you. And I'll also tag it down below, just in case you want to watch it after this. Tip number 2, you want to show your partner love in their love language, which might be different than yours. Be mindful of your partner's preference and how they want to receive love. Because in reality, we all want the same thing in terms of feeling connected, but the way that looks is in different fonts for different people. I like Century Gothic. You might like Times New Roman. I don't know if that analogy is resonating with you, but it's in the font. We are all hungry, but we don't want the same thing for lunch. Like your partner might want tacos for lunch. And if you watch my content, you probably know what I mean by tacos. Maybe you want Honey Nut Compliment Cheerios for lunch. Oh wow, that analogy completely escaped me. I am so sorry. I love food analogies, so yeah. Cut. Let's say you find out that your partner's top-rated love language is physical touch. This doesn't have to be sex-related. This can mean when they're opening up to you and they're stressed out, you give them a little touch on their leg while they're opening up. That's physical touch. Having open conversations about the type of intimacy that you value and your partner values is really important because this looks different for everyone, like snowflakes. Take a quiz if you want to on love languages if you would like. I will put one below if you want to check that out because it can help you figure out what is my love language, what is their love language. Even if you're single, this will help you in future relationships with expressing your needs. Think back to a recent argument you might have had with a partner. A lot of the time in arguments, even though arguments are not fun, they can sometimes be helpful in figuring out what is it that your partner has expressed to you in terms of a need that they have that you haven't met. So think about the content of the argument. Was there something there that you didn't consider? And use that as information. And let's say your partner has a very high ranking for words of affirmation as their love language. They might want not only to hear you say nice things about them, but they also might want to hear why. Why is it that you love that about me? They might have had wounds in past relationships where people told them what they wanted to hear. Maybe they've been manipulated in the past. Tell them what you love about them and why. That is a great way to increase emotional intimacy. Let's say your love language is acts of service. It feels really good when people do something, take something off your plate. You're like, oh my God, you love me so much, thank you. Maybe you had a parent that made your lunch every day and that made you feel loved. Now as an adult, having a partner that does something nice for you, okay, Because, you know, our love languages come from attachment related dynamics. They come from dynamics in early childhood. So keep that in mind. But let's say that is your love language, acts of service, and your partner's love language is words of affirmation. You could say something like, oh my goodness, I noticed that you took out the trash for me. That makes me feel so loved and appreciated. You are amazing. I appreciate you so much for taking things off my plate. Bang, boom. We are building a culture of appreciation, which is super important. When I work with couples on improving emotional intimacy, a lot of the time what we focus on is building a culture of appreciation. For a lot of people, it doesn't feel very comfortable and it doesn't come very naturally. Tip number 3, improving emotional intimacy by improving that spicy time in the bedroom. Oh yes, oh yes. And yes, I know sex isn't everything. It's not everything. You can 100% have a physical, sexual connection with somebody without an emotional connection. But it's hard to say if you can actually have a solid emotional connection without some physical intimacy a lot of the time. I've done a lot of research on this. There is a very high correlation or association, if you will, between sexual satisfaction and relationship satisfaction. So yes, it is important. And a lot of couples more and more are not connecting physically as the time goes on. A lot of the work that I do with couples is about improving their physical intimacy when appropriate. It's not the whole thing, but it's definitely a piece of the puzzle. Something that I've been talking about with my sex therapy supervisor, Dr. Tammy Nelson.
You meet at home, you light the candles, you turn on the music, and that becomes the time that you commit to your erotic life, to the part of your relationship where you're not just companions, you're more than that, and that becomes sacred.
Dr. Tammy Nelson has been a great inspiration for me and why I wanted to specialize in sex therapy and couples therapy. So thank you, Dr. Tammy. But she highly encourages that when that emotional intimacy is not looking so good in the relationship, you want to prioritize physical intimacy by planning sex dates or physical touch dates. The way this is going to look is you're going to put it in your schedule. It can be really difficult for people, especially after having kids, to feel sexy, to feel like I want to have sex and I want to bond with my partner in that way. That can be really hard. So you want to start slowly. The first week of this might be prioritizing on Saturday night. We're going to hang out for an hour and we're going to prioritize physical touch. For that first week, one person can be the massager and the other person can be the receiver. So Dr. Tammy calls it the sender and the receiver. This is because you want to focus on one person receiving. We don't have to do it for each other each time. So that 1 week, one person is going to get a massage and there's no expectation for sex. There's no emphasis on anything like that. The week after that, you're going to switch. The other person is going to receive the massage. And slowly but surely, you're going to incorporate more physical touch over time. And it's so important to make it a priority because if you're not prioritizing physical touch, then it might go on the wayside. And putting it in the calendar means you're prioritizing it. And a lot of people say, oh, what about spontaneity? So much research shows that when you prioritize it, the anticipation of sex can actually increase arousal and therefore increasing your connection. Emotional intimacy can definitely improve with this method. And of course, if you are really struggling with your partner, I highly recommend seeking couples therapy if this is something that you can access. If you're looking for an individual sex or couples therapist, I recommend that you go on the Psychology Today website. I will link it below. You can look up therapist based on your area, and you can also look up based on your insurance. I realize a lot of people, I actually didn't know this for the longest time, even in a doctorate program for psychology, that a lot of insurance will cover a therapist a lot of the time. So if you didn't know that, then let your friends and family know because obviously we're advocates for therapy here. And yeah, so that is the 3 tips for improving emotional intimacy. Let me know below, please. Was there anything that I said in particular that stuck out to you? Are you looking to improve in any of the areas that were discussed? Let me know. Again, I am Dr. Sonya Maya. I'm a therapist that specializes in sexual issues and couples therapy. Maybe show a little bit of a physical touch to that like and subscribe button, and possibly, you know, if you feel like it, maybe some words of affirmation in the comments below, you know, wouldn't hurt anyone.
I love you.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a week for another Psych or Sex Ed Sundays video with Dr. Sonya Maya. Have a great week.